Good day YouTubies, scratch builders and kit bashers. Welcome to my channel. My name is Paul. This video I tasked myself with a very simple project. If you've seen my last video, which was the giant mech go big or go home community challenge set by Silver Scratch, you'll see I made a 20-inch mech walker and then sprayed it copper. I don't have much experience in painting models. In fact, I've got almost none, except for the pieces that I've done on my channel. So when I came to this big fancy copper mech and this huge copper finish, it's so shiny and so lustrous. In one sense, I needed to tidy it up and made it look worn, but I also didn't want to spoil it, the whole finish. So I wanted to get some practice. However, that's not what this bot was initially. I tasked myself with a very small, simple, quick bot challenge. Something using one small container that I just happened to be given by my partner. And the idea was to keep it simple. Glue something together that took me maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. 1 or 2 greeblies on just for a little bit of relief. And you'll see from this bottle, I kept the stickers on it. I was going to peel them off to create texture, but then I decided, well, I already had a technique where I'll prime it and then rub the primer off and then primer it again. So I created a multi-layered effect. But this was going to be painted up to look like, well, R2-D2 kind of colours. The blue, the black, the silver, the white. And then somewhere along the line I invented this story that it was going to be BB8's mother. If that even exists. But I want to tell you the story anyway. So you'll get to the colour scheme, which I was no longer happy with, and then we'll get to the reveal at the end of what I actually did end up with. But the story was going to be, this was probably the first AI manufacturing robot that was somehow given birth to AI robots. And you can see there are 2 orbs on the floor and there's 1 coming out. So the idea would be that there were 3 being born of these, what we now know to be the BB8 droids. And turns out BB8 was carnivorous and didn't like his siblings and didn't want the competition. So BB8, 9 and 10. So BB8 was the first successful droid, AI droid, that was born of another AI droid. So there were 7 incarnations before that, which we can only assume failed, and then BB8, 9 and 10. I mean, I've just realized I've got my glasses on. That's terrible. That's terrible. But I didn't like the story anyway. Sorry, I didn't like the paint job, so I decided to get my copper spray out. Anyway, then I decided I want to patina it and age it, you know, rust corrosion and stuff like that. And then I thought I'll use it as an excuse, as a little bit of practice to finish my big 20-inch mech. Without further a coppery pole, let's see what I come up with. So here we have a little super drug box tub, probably multivitamins, something like that, or Viagra, not really sure. First time I've had a small container like this. Everything else has been quite large, taking up a lot of space. And to the left there you see that I've used on other builds. That's the rubber grey widget that you get from a washing machine, and that's a WD-40 lid. But ultimately I haven't used them in this build anyway. Top right on the screen there you can see, I think that's is it a Wii? Possibly from a Wii. Nintendo Wii. I think the neighbours dropped it from the car when they were moving house or something and the car ran over it. I found it in the grass, in bits. Interesting greeblies. Had to drink a lot of Guinness to find these containers, these widgets. And the idea at this point, it was going to be like a rolling droid. You know, like with the ball at the bottom, roll on the ball. But like all my ideas, they never turn out the way I start them. I've made an absolute mess of my cutting board. Look at that. and then I use thinners to clean it. It's full of old super glue, so it's all got hard spots and everything. It's terrible. I'm probably gonna have to get another one. Again, nothing fancy about this build. It's supposed to be very simple, just something to, you know, to practice some paint techniques on, or try to stop overthinking. But I ended up putting a pair of arms on it anyway, or a pair of legs. It turns out this hat was very heavy. It was really thick steel, and I figured it was never going to balance anyway, so I had to take it off. This of course created a start for my distressed two-layer paint job. Turned out nice. When I had it this way, I figured it looked like a small head. So then I started turning it upside down, thinking, oh, so again, changing my idea. What made me think of arms and legs, I've got no idea. It wasn't my plan. This wasn't supposed to be a walker or anything like that. It wasn't a robot, it was a droid. A rolling droid. So I kind of skipped to the end here. The legs are, you know, done. Not easy to attach. It's a mixture of glue gun and, you know, high viscous super glue. Didn't need to be fancy, just something in place. Just something to hide the wire. I didn't put any flow improver in my airbrush here, so it's gummed up a little bit, but it does come free. And then we have finished a little bot plopper, or mine dropper, or droid dropper, or just a Guinness widget maker. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like a still from a brewery and it makes Guinness widgets. So here it is anyway, the absolute travesty of a BB8 colour scheme. Now it occurred to me after this, even though the jobs, you know, I probably would have added more orange and got rid of the black, but that thing on top was just too distracting. So I decided to copper it. And I'm glad I did. So here's my Guinness widget pooper droid. Mine dropper droid. Pick one. Come up with a great name for me. Put it in the comments. Maybe I'll rename the video. Give you a nice credit on the next video. Very happy with how it turned out anyway. I'm a big fan of copper. Got copper in the house, got copper in the garden. And it was an interesting little exercise for me. Thinking it was out of my comfort zone, not really, you know, what I'm used to doing. But thanks for stopping by. See you in the next one.